Dream team this evening. Gilda's here, Daniel's here, and Nuno are here already. And we may have others joining us on the Dream Team lineup. Just want to make sure everything's streaming smoothly on YouTube, which it should be doing. There we go. I think we're live on YouTube now. We should be anyway. So if someone wouldn't mind checking that for me, I'd be grateful. It's disappeared from my screen, but I think we are going out live on YouTube there. Let's go to the Queen of the Visas and see how she is this evening then. How are you, Gilda? A big smile on your face.
I'm having some problems here with the
You?
lights.
Are you? I thought you were just really excited. Are you having a little disco there as we get
Yeah.
a bit of a warm up? What's your favorite dance floor smashing? Is it Dancing Queen as Queen of the Visas?
Yes, I like the Dancing Queen.
Excellent.
Yeah.
Good. Okay. Excellent to see you tonight. How are you and how's the world of migration?
I am fine. The world of migration is upside down, but it's not news at all.
Sorry, say that again. It's upside down. And is there any news to report? Any improvements?
It seems that they are going to change again the way that the renewals are working.
Oh,
because
or not working, as the case may be. Tell us more about that.
So until yesterday, they were like opening some appointments for people to go and do the renewals at the IRN.
Okay.
And now, yesterday, they start, there was some rumors that they were going to stop this and they were going to do it again by the old CEF portal. And yeah. So now it seems like the renewals, it's not seems, we've tried already this evening. It's possible to make the renewals online again.
Via the old CEF portal?
Yes.
It's like the good old days. But it's kind of. That's amazing. So what will that mean, Gilda? How is that going to change things, affect things, do you think?
I think that they built all the structure, they did everything in one way, which is now it's going to be the
IRN.
Yes, IRN. That's going to do this. They changed everything, and now they said, okay, that's too much work, so let's keep it online, like it was.
Wow. Okay. Well, thank you for that update. Anything else to share with us this evening after that bombshell?
No, that's too much. I've been running. I came running.
You have a busy evening.
Yes.
And this is all very fresh then. This is like hold the front page stuff, isn't it?
Yes, yes. We were just in the office until a few minutes ago.
Incredible. Thank you for being here tonight. Really appreciate you being here with the sort of day you must have had.
Yeah.
For the time being then, Gilda, thank you very much. Any questions for Gilda, of course, pop them in the chat here on Zoom or over at YouTube. Let's go to Daniel Reis. It's very exciting week, Daniel, as we make our way towards what are called in Portugal the legislative elections. Is that because we're voting for the legislators, the people who will create law here in Portugal? Is that why they called that?
Correct. That's it. We're voting for parliament, and the parliament is where the laws are voted. So we're going to have some news for the next Dream Team next week for sure.
Yes.
Because a new composition out of the parliament will come out, and probably a bit more news on the legal department. One thing is interesting that I need or I should share is the nationality law that went into constitutional court. So it got dragged on and it was finally approved. And the waiting time that applicants had is now in a full force. So that's actually good. It was something that it was being discussed yet, but now it's in full force. So the time that applicants are waiting for their residency permit will now be accounted for nationality time. This is quite useful for golden visa clients and manifestação de interesse, the expression of interest clients, because those are the ones that wait the most. So it's interesting. The rest, it's quite windy in Lisbon, and my shutters, they went berserk. So I probably should talk with Nuno, because my insurance is will need to be activated.
which leads us nicely to Nunu. So a windy evening. You're not talking about politics. You're talking about the weather.
Correct.
Right. Okay. An exciting week then, and the election will, of course, be on Sunday. And we're talking to Daniel. It's a legal special next Thursday at 7:30. So we'll know all about what's happened here in Portugal by then, and we'll have another chat about it then. But any questions you've got about the law, about politics, if you like, we'll put those in the chat and put them to Daniel this evening. Nunu, you might get a call from Daniel in the morning. How are you?
Thank you, Daniel. Hello, good evening, everyone. So everything okay, actually is going pretty well. Regarding the world of insurance, not many news about the business itself, but the market and the workers are a little bit panicking about AI. So more and more reports about how AI will change the insurance industry. I don't see any problem with that.
Good.
But yeah, it's something that is concerning the business and concerning the people that work in the business.
Yeah, right.
So,
That's understandable, isn't it? And I like your optimism about that. It must be quite an issue for Gilda, actually, where people talking about AI all the time. Is that a thing for you, Gilda? Do you do you prick your ears up every time somebody mentions artificial intelligence?
Yes, that's true.
Yeah, right. It'll calm down eventually. It'll calm down eventually. And with the way all of you do business here, I think it's reassuring to share with everybody that these are very human businesses, and you're dealing with people with all of the Dream Team members here. And I think that's going to be very difficult to replace with AI. There may be parts of the industry, of course, that could be streamlined in the future, but with that human contact that we've come to love and people really appreciate so much about these professionals here, I think it's going to be hard to emulate that with machines. So thank you for that, Nunu, that update, that reassuring update from the insurance industry. The weather is pretty wild, though, isn't it, Nunu? So at these times, you are imagining that you may have a few calls in the morning, I guess, from customers.
not during the morning, but during the afternoon.
Oh,
As far as I know, 2 calls
okay.
related with the bad weather and damages.
Oh, okay, okay. So not too bad then. Fingers crossed. Hope it stays
Yeah,
that way for
yeah.
you. Carolina Moralia is here from Casa Portuguesa. How are you, Carolina?
Good evening, Carl. Good evening, everybody. I'm fine. The housing market continues to be pushing, but we are here to battle it and here to answer any questions you might have.
You got a great testimonial on the last webinar. We were talking with people who've just landed. Well, and Matt actually had been here for a year. I mean, that's fairly new in somebody's life here in Portugal, and spoke very highly of you using Casa Portuguesa and you
Oh,
helping
nice.
him with accommodation in Porto. Any other cities, towns to put on the list of interest at the moment? I always like to ask you about that, where there might be a shift of interest in some of the towns and cities that expats are picking up on.
Right now, it continues, the Silver Coast continues very popular. Leiria, Figueira da Foz, Tomar. Tomar is not considered Silver Coast, if I'm not mistaken, but it also picks interest. Santarém. So
Okay, very interesting.
people are exploring outside Lisbon and Porto, which is great.
Yes, very good. It is good, isn't it, that we're getting a wider. Well, there are
We
more
need
places
it.
on the radar there. I'm sure that will help. Silver Coast, though, my understanding is that Portuguese people don't call it the Silver Coast. Is that like an expat fabrication, a foreigner? Look at all the Portuguese people nodding. That's a thing the foreigners have made up, is it, Carolina?
It is.
Really? Wow. Okay.
Yes. I don't know. I had a client that asked me that, and it was like, oh, because the glow of the water is so silver. And I was like,
Okay. Okay.
I don't know really.
Well,
But
some say, Carolina, it's the color of the hair of most foreigners who live here. I don't know. I don't know if that's true or not. And I'm no one to talk with that, but the little bit I have got is going silver. So I was fascinated when I heard that. So it's just a kind of a fairly recent thing. Then what was it called before? What do Portuguese people refer to? How would they describe this coast?
Okay, so to be
Oeste.
honest, huh?
Oeste.
Oeste.
Yeah. Okay. Just east. That doesn't sound as good as Silver Coast. Come on.
No, it's more fancy, Silver Coast.
Yeah, I think we've given you a
should
gift
thank you.
there.
Yeah, we should thank you for
take
that.
it. You should take it.
You
All
did an upgrade. Thank you.
right. Just east is really not selling it, is it? Okay.
No.
All right. Thanks, Carolina. Thank you,
welcome.
Gilda, and all those nods from the Portuguese people there this evening. We've got Shari as well. How are you, Shari?
Hi, Carl. Hi, everyone. I'm good.
Nice,
Doing
nice
good.
early morning for you. Yeah, so you're
Yeah.
doing great over there. What's new in the world of filing US expat taxes?
Yeah, although the US tax filing side is now getting busier and busier because the upcoming deadline is fast approaching. Greenback is still standing by to help you with your filing extension request, US tax consultation request, and tax preparation request. So feel free to contact Greenback if you need any help.
Excellent. Good to have you here this evening. So if you have any questions for Shari about filing your US tax return, an extension, all those sorts of things to do with US tax services, Shari's here to help. So pop the questions in the chat or over on YouTube. Thanks for being here. Very early for you, as we know, Shari. So thanks a lot for being here this evening. Let's go to the first of the questions then. John, thank you very much. I think this is for Daniel. How should documents be translated to Portuguese after apostille? Is a notary translation required? May I choose a notary? And this is for Portuguese citizenship application here, Daniel.
So, pardon, it's one of the advices that we usually deliver to the clients is that all the translations should be done in Portugal. Because if they are done abroad, let's say that the document was issued in the US and then it's translated in the US, the translation will need an apostille. So it's a never-ending process. So once the document is obtained abroad, let's say a birth certificate, the birth certificate is apostilled in the US, it should come to Portugal, and then you can choose the translator that you wish. And translate in Portugal, you don't have the professional bar association of translators. So this is usually done via or either lawyers that will notarize the translation, or translation firms that work with lawyers or solicitors or even notaries. So as long as it's the translation is done in Portugal, you will be in the clear in any professional that you end up choosing. Any translation company that works with a lawyer or a solicitor will be fine. We do work with a company here in Lisbon, so if you need a recommendation, we can indeed point you out in the correct direction.
Well, there you go. Thanks for that, Daniel. There you go, John. If you've got any further questions, do pop them in the chat there. Tom Smith, not that he's counting or anything, but greetings from Ohio in 32 days, 3 hours and 40 minutes and a little bit. My first journey to Portugal begins. That's wonderful. And thank you, James, for your message earlier on. LaRonda is saying, I've heard Silver Coast is because of the fog, the marine layer. Yes, I think that's a pretty good explanation as well. It's a bit misty and foggy, so sometimes there's that silveriness. And I think Tom was on the same page as me with the hair reference there. Greetings from California, from Dennis, looking at a 12-month lease in the Algarve, in Faro, Estoy, Tavira area, visiting area in April for a conference in Albufeira. Oh, that sounds good, Dennis. You can have a little look around while you're here on a conference. Don't forget Casa Portuguesa can help you with that as well. Rebecca H, AI is not all that good at dealing with situations that change. It's better with situations that don't change much. So it sounds like it'll be fine with visas in Portugal then. Thus, EI, there you go. Thus, EI and other folks here like Nuno and company at Insurance will remain relevant and superior. That's wonderful. Thank you for that, Rebecca. And all this time, I thought Esht was west and Lesht was east. There you go, Tom. A good little bit of education for you tonight. I was told, Jerry says it's the silver mist that rolls in from the Atlantic. Thank you. A question for Nunu then from Debbie. I've not seen this discussed before. Okay, this is good, Debbie. Thank you. In the US, people can get renter's insurance. Is that a thing in Portugal? Well, we do have that. We have talked about it before, but maybe not on the sessions you were here, Debbie. Can you take us through that, please, Nunu?
Yes, thank you for the question, Debbie. So sometimes people ask us about the rental insurance, and some, yes, they want the rental insurance, and some what they want is what we here call content insurance. So I didn't explore much when I replied to Debbie. I just asked her to call me, to give me a call. because I have the time then to clarify.
Yes.
So the content is to ensure our goods inside the house, plus an additional coverage of liability. Liability, which includes damages to landlords, apartment, house, whatever. This is one kind of insurance. The other one is rental insurance, which acts as a reinsurer for the landlord, that in case of the tenant stops paying the rent, the insurer pay the rent to the landlord. Okay, this is not so simple like this, because then it has some legal issues involved and so on. But basically, what we always try to understand when people ask about the rental insurance is if it really is rental insurance, or if it's content to insure their goods and liability to damages to the landlord's house.
Yes, and you could do both, of course.
Yes,
but we
yes,
need to be
easily.
clear. Yeah, we need to be clear about which one is being used in which instance there. So I hope that helps, Rebecca. Any more? Oh, was that Debbie or Rebecca? I think it was Debbie, wasn't it? So Debbie, thank you for the question. And it sounds like you're connected with Nunu for that now. Lex, that's a very long question. I'm not sure we can go into such encyclopedic detail there, but Gilda might like to pick up on that in a more general way. Am I right, Gilda?
This one about the D8.
Yes, that's right. That one.
Lex, so this should be a consultation, right?
Yes.
I'm going to send you the bill tomorrow, okay?
All right.
But yes, I checked already here. You don't need to take a scanned copy of the visa. Actually, I'm not sure if Braga, it's with papers or it's with everything scanned. I don't recall. I think it's well, better take a copy. Better take a copy.
Memory, Gilda, but I don't do bookings for a long time. It was all in paper, so
it was in paper, Braga, right?
I don't know if they've changed in the meantime.
Yes, I think Braga it's still in paper. So yes, you should take a copy. The NIS, it's mandatory. If you don't take the NIS, they will do the process anyways, but you will be notified to show the NIS afterwards, which means that the process is not going to be checked without the NIS.
Mm-hmm.
It's going to be on hold until you deliver the NIS. And then everything else is right, except for the travel insurance, which is not going to be a travel insurance. It needs to be a health insurance now for the safe appointment.
Okay, brilliant. Little mini consultation there. Lex, if you could know your email address for the bill for that, that would be great. And Gilda's accountancy team will be in touch in the morning. Thanks, Lex, for that question. And speaking of the NIS, I'm going on a D7. Do I still need one, says Debbie, for that there, Gilda?
No, not to apply, and neither for the IMA appointment. Although they are requiring people to have the social security number for more things, like for requesting the healthcare number and to be registered in the health center. So it's recommendable that once you get here, you ask for it.
Very good. All right, there you go, Debbie. Thank you, Gilda. John, to you, Mr. Daniel. Yes, I will contact you. That's excellent. So I think we've satisfied John there. Let's stay with you, Gilda, for this question from Marcelo. Not that one. Have dual citizenship, US and Brazil, any advantages for applying as either for the D7, although income is coming from the US? So this will be an issue, won't it, for people who have more than one passport? How do they decide upon which nationality they apply for Portuguese residency, Gilda?
Well, usually our clients ask us if they can choose where to apply. First, you need to be aware that you can have two nationalities, but the application needs to be done with a proof of residence. So if you are a Brazilian citizen, but you don't live in Brazil, you cannot show a proof of residence in Brazil, so you cannot apply from there. But let's imagine that you have two citizenships and two addresses, one in each country, and you can apply from either country. Then we say, okay, it's faster here, or it's easier here or over there. In your case, between Brazil and United States, it's more or less the same thing. So,
okay, all right, and so it's case by case. There's no generality.
Yes, no.
Okay,
We have to check.
All right, very good. Thank you very much for that. Thank you, everybody, for your questions that are coming in on Zoom now and over there on YouTube as well. I'm not liking the way that Zoom threads all these chats together, because every time somebody puts something in on a thread, it throws where I am. We've dealt with Marcelo there, though, and Dennis as well, Rebecca too. Question for Daniel then from Diana. Diana, where is that castle? Jerry will probably know. Question for Daniel. I'm about to send my first set of certificates with apostilles to your firm for translation and submission. Yay! Based on your experience, what delivery service works best from the US? This is a great question for people sending, isn't it? Is it the US Post Office? Is it UPS, is it FedEx, DHL, or other?
The usual are DHL and FedEx. So those are the ones that we do recommend once clients are sending us documents from the US to Portugal to submit the Portuguese nationalities. Therefore, each one of them will be fine. Just don't put, if they ask for a value of the documents, don't insert any value, because we've had instances that documents were stopped in the Portuguese tax authorities, and they wanted some money to unload the documents. It was just a birth certificate, but as someone attributed a value of $50 to it, that was let's say the amount that they paid to obtain the document. Then we had to pay duty taxes to take the thing out of the tax authority. So just don't insert any value whatsoever, so we don't need to deal with the Portuguese taxmen. And we never had any problems with FedEx or DHL. All the documents sent arrived safe and sound.
That's a really great question and a great answer there. Thanks, Diana, for that. And yeah, when it comes to putting the value on the envelope, put 0. There is no value. These are documents and not valuable things that are being sent intrinsically. Andrew, this goes back to you. Thanks, Daniel. This goes back to you, Gilda. I first heard that it was recommended to have 10,000 euros in a Portuguese bank account at the time of the D7 visa application appointment. Then 20,000. Where are we now with D7 inflation?
Well, to be safe, it should be the minimum wage times 24. So yes, 20,000, around 20,000.
Okay, so no further rise on the 20,000 figure that you heard, Andrea. Thanks, Gilda, and thank you.
I have one question.
Oh, go on.
Is there a new thing that everyone needs to have the camera off?
Oh, okay. You'd like to see everybody. Is that a request?
Yes. Why are we with our cameras on and everybody is not showing their faces?
Okay.
It isn't to be like that.
Yes, the Queen of the Visas is here, everybody. How dare you turn your cameras off?
Yeah, come on.
Right.
We are a community.
Yeah, show your faces. No, I think it's like a webinar culture thing, isn't it? A lot of people. Do you remember?
Yeah, look at them.
Oh,
so
there we
beautiful.
go. We're seeing cameras now. Thank you, everybody. Much appreciated.
Yeah, I was feeling sad talking to
good call.
Yeah,
no, a good
squares,
dark
squares.
In all of these years of Zoom calls, I think a lot of people multitask now, don't they? So they turn the camera off to spare their blushes with.
Yeah, you can do whatever you want.
But we must
just want to see you. Yeah.
Okay, all right. Not anything, folks. Okay, be careful what you wish for, Gilda. And thanks from Lex as well this evening. Thank you, Gilda. I've used your service in the past, and we'll be calling your team up for the NHR after I get my approval. You better be quick on that. And thank you, Gilda from Debbie. I'm getting private health insurance but I will apply for NIS after I arrive. And one for Nunu then, a couple here. Good evening to you, Gail. Good to see you. And LaRonda, first of all, will having rental insurance be helpful to me if I find a rental but can't move in immediately? Might it give the landlord some peace of mind if I need them to hold it for a month or two after having paid a deposit? I know some landlords are hesitant to hold properties for foreigners until they can move in. So in your experience, maybe we can ask you, Gilda, as well, but in your experience, Nuno, does that help in the rental market?
Yes, this is actually the aim of the rental insurance, is to ensure the landlord that he, she, or she will receive the rental value each month. Okay? So yes, this is the key factor of why we have this kind of insurance.
Okay, all right, that's great. And Gail, as to the question, what is the typical cost of rent insurance? Does it reduce the number of months deposit you may have to pay when signing an apartment lease? And or does it just make it easier to get a lease? Yeah, so there's a little bit more of the psychology around that, if you don't mind, Nuno.
Yeah. Okay. So yes, it's to facilitate the lease, okay, to the tenant, because the landlord has a double guarantee. And about the cost, it depends of, there are basically two insurers in Portugal that have this kind of insurance. One, actually, if we start reading the wording, you don't want to go with that. The other one, yes, is a proper rental insurance, and the cost is approximately 4.5% of the annual rent.
Okay, all right. So there you go, Gail. I hope that answers your question. Do let us know if there's anything else you need to know on that. And John, I passed 5 years. Back to you, Daniel. Thanks, Nuno. I passed 5 years under the Golden Visa, I think, to apply for permanent residence and for the application for Portuguese nationality. As I understand, it is quite different government offices, isn't it? I will provide 2 criminal certificates separately. So can you decode that a little bit for us there, Daniel? John's question there after 5 years. Here under the Golden Visa scheme?
Well, there were actually 2 different agencies. One was SEF, and it was under a different umbrella. And the SEF was the one taking care of residency permits, now called AMA. And AMA is now under the IRN department. So actually, the Portuguese nationalities and the residency permits will be handled by the same agency in Portugal, although different branches of the same agency. But nonetheless, the criminal record to obtain the permanent residency card in the Golden Visa will be necessary, and another criminal record to obtain the Portuguese nationality from the country of origin will be necessary. The 2 criminal records will need to be apostilled, will need to be valid at the time of the delivery of the processes, and do be mindful that the validity of those documents is usually short, 3 months. Therefore, you will indeed need 2 different criminal records, one for each application. Eventually, if the dates do coincide, if you're lucky enough, you can deliver just 1 criminal record and have a certified copy, a notarized copy of that criminal record for the other process. But usually these processes will not coincide in time, and if they don't, definitely 2 criminal records separate, for one for each process.
Okay, thanks, Daniel. There you go. That was for John, wasn't it? Yeah, there you go, John. I hope that helps. You know where we are if you need any further answers, if you've got any further questions there. Thank you for your kind words, Rebecca. And you are getting explanations, Gilda, as to why some people aren't turning their cameras on. Bad hair day for Andrea. Well, can't we be the judge of that, Andrea? Let's have a look. And I think it's distracting to have the non-speakers video on. Thank you, Debbie, for your consideration there. And speakers off. Marcelo, that's probably a really good idea. That could be quite chaotic. Please don't show us everything there, just to follow up on what you were saying there, Gilda. And Diana, I have a bad cold, so I'm displaying the gorgeous view from my hotel room. Okay, so that's Porto, the wonderful picture that you can see. That's great. If you're going to turn your camera off, you can at least do what Diana's done and replace your image, your own image, with a fabulous photograph. That is absolutely wonderful, Diana. Thank you for that. A gorgeous view from my hotel room in Porto instead of my red eyes and sneezing. Get well soon. As melhores there to you, Diana. And thank you from John to you, Gilda, as well. That was a good point about the camera. Better, Gilda? Everyone's responding to you, Queen of the Visas there. I'm switching to speak of you because the people's videos are distracting, says Debbie. Doesn't want to see into everybody's lives there. And from LaRonda, we've dealt with that, I think, for you, LaRonda. Excellent. And for you, Gail, as well. So let's have a look over on YouTube and see what's happening there with the YouTube questions this evening. And plenty of them. Thank you, everybody, over there on YouTube. You, the Now New, is here. You need travel insurance before going to Portugal. Question then, a medical one for the time after you land and before your TRC. Then you can use government facilities after TRC, or can it be used before TRC also? Could you clarify all of that for us, please, Gilda? The sorts of insurance that are needed with your visas.
Okay, so for the visa, it's a travel insurance to get the visa.
Yep.
Then when you come to Portugal, to the IMA appointment, it's a health insurance. And then for the renewal, you can be, it's sufficient to be only in the public health system.
Okay.
Because you cannot enroll in the public health system without having the residency permit.
Okay, so you've got to follow that sequence there, the Now New, and I love coming in from YouTube on that answer there. So thank you very much for Gilda. And a bit of jargon busting, acronym busting there. What does TRC stand for?
Temporary residency permit.
Okay, all right. Or perhaps certificate in Now News
No?
reckoning there. All right, thank you very much for that. Let's go to Hamad. Beg your pardon, Haida. Hi, everyone. Waiting time count of manifest de interés for nationality counts from submission of online application, acceptance of email from CEF, or from biometric date. Is it clear from the law? Is Hamad's question there. So what can you tell us about that, Gilda? Or Daniel?
It's with Daniel.
Yes, Daniel. Sorry. Go ahead, Daniel.
I'd like to know.
Right.
It's not clear from the law. We are basically in beta testing for some clients, golden visa clients that have already the 5 years, 5 years of submitting the process. So we will ask for a certificate of the accounting of time with this new law, and with that we will be able to ascertain what's going to be the interpretation of CEF of this law. So the actual straightforward answer is we don't know. I do have my own interpretation, and for golden visa clients is from the time that the process is submitted, you press send and the fees are paid, because there's an initial fee that golden visa applicants need to pay on the beginning of the process. From the time that the fees are paid and the money is on CEF's side, I consider that the process is submitted and that all the delays that come after that are from CEF or AMA's fault. Therefore, this law, the intention of this law, at least the interpretation that I have of the intention of this law, is not to harm people that are waiting for such a long time, and if there's some interest or expression of interest in golden visas for the majority of them, for the residency cards to be issued. So it wouldn't make a lot of sense to drag the situation to the time that the biometric data is collected, because at the end of the day, for golden visa, we need to wait more than a year for the biometric data to be collected. For manifestação de interesse, I think it's around 1.5 years to almost 2 years. So what would be the reason of having this law if the date was pushed back to the biometric data collection? But at the end of the day, this is my wishful thinking interpretation. I'm not sure. We'll need to request these certificates of accounting of time, and once we have them, we'll let you know and share the results.
That's great. I think we're going to stay with you, Daniel, because.
But sorry to interrupt. I also agree with Daniel on this.
Okay. All right. Thank you. Well, as you're here, Gilda, because I think this is a classic question that you like answering.
Oh my God.
Please be clear on how much time we can spend outside Portugal each year with the 2- and 3-year permits. It's the classic, isn't it? Is the time spent outside considered separately for renewal, permanent residence, and nationality? Go ahead.
Well, we are only talking about the the 2 years and then the 3 years, okay?
Yeah.
Residence permit, the first. And it was very funny because I got an email this week or last week of a gentleman saying that he heard us saying this explanation here on YouTube, and it was going against all the other information. So he wanted to know from the law, where was it stated, so he could educate others. So we did that, and then he was very happy, and he said, I'm going to show to this and this and this and this, and then he show all the websites and all where they stated it was per year, because it used to be per year, but now the law changed, and it says you cannot stay away from the country 6 consecutive months or 8 interpolated in the period of time of your residency permit, which means if it's from 2 years, it's 8 months interpolated in 2 years. If it's the second one, 3 years, it's 8 months interpolated in the 3 years. What happened? What do I think that happened here? It was a mistake from when they changed the law.
Okay.
Yes, I think that they wanted, because before you had to change to renew every year. And then the COVID came, and then they changed that it's for 2 years and then 3 years. And they forgot to change this article.
Okay. All right. But went with it anyway. And that's where we're at now.
Yes,
Did you hear back from your YouTube correspondent?
I did.
Oh,
He
excellent.
said that he was going to educate the others.
Very good.
Yes, he was very happy with the answer,
Yeah.
because we showed him the law, we underlined and we explained, and he
That
said, so now I understand, and I'm going to educate others.
Oh, good job, Dream Team. Fantastic. I hope he let everybody know where that information came from as well. So thanks, Gilda, for doing that. And I think
You're
we
welcome.
do return to, thanks for answering that, Fahamad. I think we return to Daniel now. And this is a quickie for Dennis K on the Zoom chat. Do I need to get a new police FBI record if over 3 months old for my San Francisco visa meeting?
Well, I think that's a Gilda
It
question.
is a Gilda question, isn't it? Sorry, I'm so used to asking you questions about criminal records. I thought it was automatically for you. So back to you then, Gilda.
For when you submit your visa appointment, it has to be less than 3 months old.
Okay. All right. So getting a nod there from Dennis. Excellent. Any more
Yeah.
questions, Dennis? Just let us know in the chat there. Note to Jerry there, I think. Is there an FAQ on the Expats Portugal website? Maybe this can be the first question. That was probably the one that Gilda answered there. But that's a pretty good bit of feedback there, Jerry, as well. Possibly an FAQ section, and getting a nod from Jerry there. Excellent. Definitely back to you, I'm sure, of this one, Daniel. Can you please advise if you're changing your name from your divorced name back to your maiden name, if this will cause a problem? Oh, no, it is for Gilda when applying for the D7 visa. So name changes with divorces, how should that be managed with the D7 process, Gilda?
Well, for the D7, it doesn't really make a difference, because you are going to apply with a passport, unless you need to make the change before you apply.
Okay, so if there are different documents that might show different names, that's a problem.
Yes.
But if your name is consistent in recent history, that shouldn't be a problem.
Yes, but even for the visa, it's not that problematic, because you can show your passport, you can show the documents if they have different names on the exposition of motives. You can explain, and you can put the wedding certificate and then the proof of the divorce, saying that your name has changed. I don't foresee any problem for getting a D7. But then when you come to Portugal, And if you want to do other things like exchanging the driving license or maybe some other matters related with Daniel, other law issues, yes, that can be a problem.
Yeah,
I'll pick up on that. I'll pick up
Yes.
on the lead. The first advice that I have is, well, don't get married. The second one is, if you get married, don't change your name, please. And the third one is, don't get divorced if you get married.
this is
And
good.
I'll explain my train of thought.
Yes.
The first line of reasoning is, if you get married and you change your name, it's quite easy in the US and in the UK to change the name. You don't need any special type of documents. And that, for the Portuguese authorities, when you are considering requesting a Portuguese nationality, it creates a lot of nuisances, because you need to prove that you indeed changed your name, that the same person that got married 20 years ago is the same one that changed the name. And the other one, what I was joking about, is don't get divorced, because we talked about this 3 or 4 times in the dream team already. Is, let's say that you got married 3 times and you got divorced another 3 times. If you become Portuguese, you will need to register all of those, and it's cumbersome. And sometimes we need to contact the old spouses from 30 years ago, and it's fun. It's fun once we tell a client, well, we should contact the ex-spouse because the process is faster. You should see some clients' faces. They say, "Oh, no, please."
No, yes, they're exes for a reason, right?
Yeah. That was my line of reasoning, and my trying to be light on the topic. So, marry if you wish, change your name if you wish, but document it all. Don't get divorced that many times, because you'll pay a lot of in fees and court fees and whatnot. So try to get the divorces checked. But apart from that, if you change the name, or try not to change the name, that's basically the bottom.
That's incredible, isn't it? It would make an amazing movie, the person who has to find all those people. And you could be in that movie, Daniel, I think, helping that.
We've had the record here. I think it was three marriages and 3 divorces that we had to register.
And that all had to be accounted for. That's incredible.
Right. And it takes years. At the end of the day, it goes to the second degree of courts, Tribunal da Relação here in Portugal, to register the divorce. Then we go into the IRN to register the marriage. Then we go into the second line of courts to register the divorce. So it's fun. It's good business for us. But if I'm being friendly advice, try not to get too many divorces, because that will be expensive later down the line once you become Portuguese.
No, I've seen surveys of the countries in Europe in which there are the most divorces. Portugal actually rates quite highly, which surprised me. Is that true, or have I just been looking at the wrong surveys?
I don't know the metrics in other countries, but here is a 60-odd%. It's more than 50% the divorce rate, so it's high, it's substantial.
Yeah. People aren't following your advice. So this expect to see this in the law books of the future. It's a bit like Maslow's hierarchy. It's Daniel Reis's hierarchy of relationships. So don't get married. If you do get married, don't change your name, and don't get divorced if you do get married, if I remembered that correctly. Hilarious, says Gina Fiore, and Monique M is very glad of the response there. Thank you so much. Very informative and great.
May I interrupt you?
Yes. What do you have to add to this, Nuno?
Not that I know someone in this situation, okay?
Okay.
But
what
about someone that got married, then divorced, and a few years later married again?
Oh dear, yeah.
With the ex-wife.
Okay, asking for a friend there, Daniel. What happens in that
situation?
Oh,
yes, a friend. It's a friend.
Well, did you change the name? The second time.
The question is, did she change the name?
Twice.
Twice.
Very good.
She did the same mistake. Oh my God.
Oh, well. Okay. Thank you for that, Nuno. Was that helpful?
Yeah, it could. I will tell him.
Brilliant. Okay. Where were we? This is great tonight. Thank you. And Lester, thank you for those kind words. Really enjoy and I'm well informed by the info presented on this channel. Thanks. You're very welcome, Lester. We do this every Thursday evening, the Dream Team, 9 p.m. every Thursday evening from Expats Portugal. Teta Victoria, I am an EU citizen and became tax resident in November. Is it possible to remove tax residency? That's an interesting question. I'm not staying 183 days and it's a disadvantage. I'm sponsored by my non-EU spouse. Would this affect their residency if you do that? So first question is, can you unregister your tax residency, Gilda?
Yes, you can.
Okay, and will that affect the spouse if you do that and their residency situation?
No,
Only from a
because
possible sort of wealth management point of view, and that's more of a matter for an accountant, isn't it? Than
yes,
rather
yes.
the visa side of things.
Not from the visa or residency permit side.
Okay, all right. Thank you.
Then what they need to check is if one stays as a tax resident and the other is a non-resident, and if they are married and they fill the taxes together, then you have to check how you're going to do that.
Yeah, okay.
It's going to be very specific, but it's something that it's possible to be done, and it's quite normal.
Would you help with that? Can EI help with that sort of situation?
Yes, of
Okay,
course.
so there you go, Teta Victoria. You can check in with EI and you can find all of these professionals in the Expats Portugal Business Directory. This is a great question for you, Nuno, from John. I opened a showroom with the latest technologies for well-being. What kind of insurance do I need? I don't offer therapies or treatments at present. So it's not practitioner insurance, which I'm sure you can probably help people out with. This is more, it sounds like a retail or a workplace insurance. Can you help with those sort of things, Nuno?
Okay, so I answered John saying that we need to have a talk to understand better what we are talking about, which is the real situation. But for example, the workers' compensation, it's a mandatory insurance, acidentes de trabalho. It's how we call here.
Yeah.
Leaving this behind, if he provide some kind of treatments, which he said that he doesn't provide, I believe, but he, in case of provide, he needs a professional liability insurance, okay, and also to insure these equipments or the facilities where the equipment are, so a property insurance.
Okay, all right.
So basically this.
Yes, the workers' insurance is an interesting one and does come as a bit of a shock to people sometimes, doesn't it? But if you have workers on your premises coming in to carry out their professional services, you need to offer an insurance cover for that, right? You know?
Yes. Even if we're talking about the maid or someone that is taking care of the garden, the same. You need to do a workers' compensation insurance to them.
Which, of course, you can handle for people, but it's something people wouldn't necessarily think about. So that's
no. And actually, this insurance covers not only, and talking about domestic workers, this insurance covers not only at home, inside the home, but also to during the trajectory between where they left until they get our home and the reverse.
Okay, so when they're on the way to the workplace as well as return from it.
Yes.
Okay.
So in case of an accident, a car accident, for example, is this the insurance that will work?
So from the workers' point of view, an excellent protection for the workers, but something that people who are needing that insurance might not necessarily be aware of if they haven't grown up in this culture. So thank you for mentioning that.
And it's cheap.
And it is okay. So it's a good value deal for that because you need it from Nuno. Have a chat with Nuno about that insurance. Great question from Gail. It's very specifically for you, Carolina, about a place, Setúbal. And how is the supply of rentals, T1 rentals in Setúbal? Would you care to comment on that? And how can we best help Gail secure one of those?
The best way to secure one of those is to join us so we can help him.
There you go.
But regarding the prices in Setúbal and all over the country, they continue to be high.
Yeah.
And they don't change with the season, unfortunately. So Well, they stay high, and it all depends on the budgets.
Yes. Okay. And with, you know, with Stubal as an example, there tends to be a sprawl, doesn't there? As soon as the, you know, the supply is exhausted inside the immediate city, people start looking nearby. And Stubal does have some lovely areas around it, doesn't it? The Arabada National Park and so on. Maybe we shouldn't talk too much about it, Gail. Maybe we should just say Stubal's a terrible place and no one else should look there. Yeah, okay, let's leave it at that. It's an awful place. Nobody should be renting there. And let's see what that effect that has on the rental market over there in Stubal. But a great choice, Gail. And
It is.
yeah, as Carolina says there, she can help out with that. Thanks for the question, Gail. Any other tips anybody needs about particular locations? Carolina here to do that. And we're into our last 10 minutes tonight. So let's get cracking and see how else we can help people here. Rebecca was picking up, Gilda, on your answer about the time in the country and how the law was changed during COVID and didn't get changed back again. Do you think that will experience another change, Gilda, or is it likely to stay how it is? Have they got other matters on their plate to be considering?
I think that they are not they are not worried with this specific item of
Yes.
the law.
All right. Okay. So don't expect to change anytime soon, Rebecca. Great offer from Lex with the Q&A. That I hope you've seen that, Jerry. Lex saying, let me know if you need support on the FAQ. I do this for a living and love asking questions. Okay. Excellent. We'll keep a note of that for the Christmas quiz as well for this year. Thanks, Lex, for that.
Yeah. Lex, if you want to drop me a line, you can see my email below my picture here. So please drop me a line. I'd be glad to talk further about that with you.
All right, wonderful. Thanks for the offer, Lex. Cheers, Jerry.
Thank you.
I'm with Daniel, says LaRonda, don't get married. Quite a few, I think, people put their thumbs up when that was raised by Daniel. Just because you like it, whatever it is, doesn't mean you need to marry it. Lots of relationship advice tonight. Loving it. Thanks everybody for the hive mind on this matter. Ask me how I know. Lol. Agreed. Say other people. Thumbs ups all around here. Oh, come on, everyone. If I say I'm divorced on my D7 application, do I need to show proof of that? Asked LaRonda then. More seriously, I never changed my name after marriage, so it's remained the same. What do you make of that, Gilda?
No, it doesn't need to say anything.
Okay.
To show any documents.
All right. Thank you very much. Gail, I think that was I don't know if that's to be read out or if it was just a quip to Daniel there. So I'll leave it alone for the time being. People are speaking of their relationship histories in the chat here tonight. Thank you very much for your authenticity and intimate detail of your private lives here this evening. We have somebody with a 5-year residency permit. I am not out more than 6 consecutive months, but is it total days for citizenship calculated per year or over the 5 years? Can continue counting when I renew my permit. Can you make sense of that for us, Daniel, there? I think because that is... no, is it? Is that Gilda or is that Daniel there? We're talking 5 years golden visa. We're talking others. Yeah.
The situation is, as long as the residency permit is renewed, as long as AIMA or SEF are happy about renewing the residency permit, on our end, once we're doing the Portuguese nationality, we will be able to do it, because to submit the Portuguese nationality, the services will inquire SEF or AIMA how long did this person had a residency permit, and if the answer is 5 years plus, then the nationality will be a green light. So if the applicant states, let's say 5 months out, that wouldn't be a problem, because the accounting of time from SEF will be a positive. So I think I got the gist out of the question, but in short, as long as SEF is renewing the residency permit, the nationality will be in the clear. That's basically it.
All right, wonderful. Thanks for taking that, Daniel. Before our cultural question to conclude the session tonight, and it will be about how the election affects foreigners, which I think it would be quite a useful question to put to you as the panel. Sean is asking, I don't know about this. I have an accepted offer on purchasing a property and waiting for right of first refusal. Is there a link in the national portal so that I can watch the countdown of days? What national portal, Daniel?
There's a portal where the right of refusal is registered. So usually the realtor companies are the ones doing this, or the seller, and there's an advert number. So basically, when the realtor or the seller is concluding the deal, 10 days before concluding the deal, you will go into this portal, register the house, register the price, and wait for the 10 days to elapse. The advert number is usually, you can consult it or you can request it to the realtors, but if you don't know the advert number, you will not be able to consult it via just the name of the seller or the location of the property. You need to have the specific registry number, and this is usually on the seller's side.
Okay, thank you very much for that. I wasn't aware of that. That's very
But it's
useful.
consultable. In short, it's consultable, but you
Yeah.
just need the correct data from the correct people.
Okay, so that's important. Make sure you've got the right information for doing that, Sean. So in these last 4 minutes then, thank you, Shari, for being here this evening. Much appreciated. Don't forget to get in touch with Shari if you've got any questions about filing your US expat tax return. Thanks, Shari. You probably won't know a lot about the Portuguese electoral system, to be fair, but we have Carolina, we've got Gilda, we've got Nuno, and we've got Daniel with us. Daniel might take, as our legal man, as our legislative man, might take the lion's share of responding to this question, but the election, I think, closes, I think you said, at around 6. Early indications might come on Sunday evening. Certainly by Monday morning, we'll have a better picture of what's gone on in Portugal. But how soon will foreigners be affected by the result, would you say, Daniel, if that's not too much of a how long is a piece of string question?
It's difficult to foresee. It depends on how the extremes do in the elections. On the far left, you have a movement of people against foreigners because they say that foreigners are taking out the houses and the housing market went up because of that. On the far right, traditionally, they are opposed to migrants. So I would be looking into the polls, how the far either left or right is doing, because if they do fairly well, hopefully not, then some changes in the migration policy may be applicable. If the center has the full, not the full parliament, but let's say more than 65% of the parliament, 60% of the parliament, no big changes will be expected, but this will depend on how the two main political parties will fare in the elections. It's difficult to foresee, it's crystal ball gazing, but the fars of the spectrum are nowadays opposed to migration, and that's unfortunate in my view, and I wish that they just become residual, but this is wishful thinking.
Well, thank you for that reassurance there, Daniel, and being on our side with that, as it were. And I am asking purely out of self-interest on behalf of the foreigners here, but we're looking for a centered result, aren't we? So it doesn't go too extreme either way. If that was the case, though, I mean, it's still going to be ages before there's any impact on legislation, right? That's still going to be another 6 months or a year before anything of that kind.
Portugal.
Like,
Come
yes,
on, it takes time.
so we could take some refuge in that as well. That being the case. So thank you for your answer on that. Would you like to add anything to that? Let's go to Carol. Thank you, and thank you for everything tonight, Daniel. Great job as usual on the Dream Team here every Thursday evening at 9 o'clock. Carolina, would you add anything to that from a political point of view, or should we not worry too much about getting our knickers in a twist or our panties in a bunch with the election result, Carolina?
These elections are one of the ones that we don't have a clear idea of what is going to happen.
Yep.
Due to parties like Chega, and we don't see a majority. It will be how can I say this? A relative win.
Yeah. Okay.
So they need to do alliances, and we don't know who will win, which alliance will happen,
Yeah.
if they can align, if the opposition can align and take the government down. So it's a bit confusing at the moment.
All right. Well, thank you for that insight, though. That in a way is reassuring in its own way, that it's quite nice quite messy, and things will take a while to be for alliances to be formed and for all the horse trading to take place. Thank you for that, Carolina. Thank you for being here. Casa Portuguesa, of course, if you're looking for help finding somewhere to live, basically in Portugal, get in touch with Carolina. Nuno, do you have something to add to this? I know you're not a massive fan, generally speaking, of politics. You prefer practical matters in life.
Oh, I am a fan. So we every day
Right.
we have I believe that is in SIC a TV program
Yes.
that talk about the elections and what happened on that day. And it's for laugh. It's like a humor program. For example, I believe that it was this Sunday. So one of them just talk about taxing rich people like Tesla owners, and a lot of people on Facebook, Tesla Facebook, just reply to her, "Don't worry that my father having to rob a bank," because she's known by this. So this is the
Yes,
political
I know. I think I know what you're
overview.
referring to. So
Okay.
comedy value, if
Yeah,
not a
comedy.
massive-
It's comedy.
It's comedy. There you go.
Yeah.
I thought so. I thought you might have something to say like that. Thank you very much, Nuno, for being here tonight. And don't forget Nuno's wonderful offer. If you need help decoding any insurance documents, Nuno and the team will take care of that. Thanks, Nuno. That's very reassuring as well. Queen of the Visas, I suspect, will have something interesting to say on this matter as well. Going to the polls on Sunday, how will it affect foreigners, do you think, Gilda?
I think that this is only talking about
Yeah.
For votes, because it's not going to affect, at the end of the day, it's not going to affect anything, to be honest. I don't believe that it's going to be any difference on what the party that it's going to win the elections. Why I think this? It's because our law, there is nothing wrong about our migration law. Our migration law, it's very good, and it should work very well. The problem is it's not working. And it's not working because there is a lot of corruption in the consulates. So many people are coming not in a legal way because they are not open vacancies in the consulates. So these politicians are saying that we want to change the law and we only want to bring people with work contracts. And I said, okay, wonderful. We want to do that also. So open the slots, because we can do it's foreseen in the law. We can bring everyone with work contracts. If they want to hire foreigners, it's foreseen in the law.
Yes. We
can hire foreigners. But why it's not happening? It's because there is too much corruption in some consulates, especially in those ones that where we need for more migrants from.
So therein lies the immediate problem, and we needn't concern.
I think that Daniel is texting me now, right? Gilda, you are going to be arrested for this.
Yeah, you might need my help. A quick message from Daniel. You may need my help when this is seen on.
I'm sorry, but
thank you for your honesty. Thank you for your honesty. Thanks for that link, Shari. That's great. Start your US expat tax return here. But thank you for, as usual, Gilda, being frank, honest, and open with us. And I think there is some reassurance in that, in helping us mere foreigners decode and understand what's going on. I think James has found that helpful. Thank you for that comment, James. And thanks, James in Estoril, for your help behind the scenes. Much appreciated. Shout out to you tonight for everything you do behind the scenes for us as well. So thanks a lot. And over to you, Jerry or Astrid, to conclude. Thanks, Gilda. Thank you, Daniel. Thank you, Carolina, Shari, and Nuno. Over to you, Astrid or Jerry, for what's happening next week.
Thank you. Well, just before Astrid jumps in, thank you, Carl. And I just wanted to mention that Astrid and I have been working away on developing a new product, which we call EP Connect. And Daniel has just killed it for us. We just don't get married.
No, he didn't say don't have relationships, though, right? It can be just, you don't have to get married.
Astrid, we're okay. We can carry it on. We can carry on.
Just don't get married.
Okay.
Okay, Jerry, we're a little bit too early to talk about EP Connect, but it's something very exciting that's coming along, hopefully within the next few weeks. So watch this space. For those who weren't part of the earlier session as well, I did mention that we are also doing some scouting tours, organising some scouting tours here in Portugal. If you're interested in finding out more or being put onto the information list, please email me at astrid@expatsportugal.com, and I'll be happy to send you some information for that. And that's it for now. Next week we've got Daniel is our special guest for the webinar. So you in good hands then, and we've got our Dream Team session same time next week too.
Superb. Thanks, Astrid. Now, I would like to say, come and fall in love with Portugal. Come and fall in love with each other. Do get married, have a party, because that would be a great opportunity for us all to get together. And I'd be very happy to DJ at your wedding. So see you there, everybody, despite what Daniel says. Thanks, everybody.